she either went by Young or Oehling, because one was her dad's name and one was her mom's name. But she was born in 1999 to her parents, Tiffany Young and Jason Oehling. Kaylene was described as a tomboy as a child, and unfortunately, almost all the information that I found out about her came from her obituary, which just, I hate that. I try not to read them unless I really can't find anything else, but she was never one to let a dress stop her from climbing trees, playing in the dirt, catching grasshoppers. When she was young, she spent most of her time outdoors. She would plan sleepovers on her trampoline to watch the stars and catch lightning bugs. Kaylene loved animals, and she was always playing with her dogs. She grew up at her mother's family camp, fishing and swimming and having fun by the campfire. And while she was up at camp, she would have so much fun playing King of the Dock. Some of her favorite activities were to hang out with her dad and build cars, and to go to Pittsburgh Pirate games with him. She also loved shopping and sitting outside listening to music with her mother. She liked to go on walks. She grew up in West Deer and Schaller Township, and she was a valued member of her community. She was sworn in as a junior firefighter and also a crew leader at her local church. She was often called a firecracker, and she greatly enjoyed her freedom and lived by her own set of rules. She likes to watch TV shows like The Walking Dead, Jersey Shore, and Maury. She was an outspoken force of beauty and ferocity, always telling it like it was. She was known for her bright spirit and nature. It was said that she could walk into any room and make friends. She considered most of her friends her family, and she enjoyed meeting new people, and she really went to school mainly to socialize with her peers. She dreamed of studying cosmetology and becoming a nail tech. She often practiced her talent on her younger sisters. She loved beauty just as much as she was a tomboy. She always had her nails done. She expressed herself by wearing headbands, comfy pattern pants, and animal print. She loved to be in love, and she would go to great lengths to protect the people that she cherished. Kaylene had a heart of gold and a love for her siblings and family that was described as fierce. She nurtured and cared for her younger siblings and cousins as if they were her own kids. And her siblings will always remember her as the best sister imaginable. She loved to take her siblings on like sibling day adventures. She always showed up and showed out for them. She never missed a birthday or a school event, and she would make sure that her siblings were always taken care of and had her to look up to. She was someone that you could always rely on. If you needed her to stay awake with you all night to make sure you were okay, she would do that. Her father, Jason, said that his daughter had an infectious personality, that she was always smiling. She was outgoing and willing to get along with everyone in a room. Kaylene was the best, he said, and I'm not just saying that because she's my daughter. She lit up a room. She always had a smile on her face. She was always holding people up, and she loved being with people. what is clear is this guy is 100% a creepazoid. Alright, so we're not sure how Kaylene met Michael Mano and how they became romantically involved. I dug and dug. I went through so many articles, but it is just not out there. This man was 25 years older than her, putting him at 44 or 45 years old when the two of them got involved. He also has a felony rap sheet so long that I'm not even going to waste my time telling you about it. The guy's a career criminal, and we could talk about it all night long, but you're just gonna have to trust me. So, the two of them had been dating. However, Kaylene broke it off with Michael when she discovered that he wasn't exactly being faithful to her. He, of course, started to love bomb her. Don't break up with me, I love you. So she starts to realize what a jerk this guy is. But unfortunately, after they broke up, she realizes something. She's pregnant with Michael's baby. And the only reason that we know this information is because her dad accidentally discovered it before she went missing. He had gone into her room to get something while she was in the shower, and he saw the positive pregnancy test. So at this point, her family really rallies around her. Her parents come together and they sit her down for a long conversation. She's 20 years old and they really want to help her. So this is when she decides to move in full-time with her dad and her then stepmom, Robin. The two of them were going to help with the baby. They were going to help Kaylene get her GED, something that she really, really wanted to happen. So it was going to be good. It got her away from Michael and it put her on the right track to raise her baby. Things were going good. So that brings us to January 10th of 2020. Kaylene was out visiting a friend of hers in Millvale, when she was supposed to head to her mom's later that night or early the morning. Her mom's house was in Etna, and we are in Pennsylvania. I don't know if I told you that. So, she's hanging out with one of her friends, and these two towns, Millvale and Etna, are about less than 15 miles apart. I'm sorry, minutes apart by car. My eye is twitching. Just ignore that, okay? So, in the morning, she had plans to babysit her siblings, and those siblings still lived with her mother. So she texted her mom fairly late at night, early in the morning, about 1:30, that she would be there in time to babysit her siblings. However, Kaylene would never arrive to her mother's house. So, I pieced together as much as I could about what happened that night without anyone actually admitting to anything. So, Kaylene was supposed to meet up with Michael in between the time that she was visiting her friend and the time that she was supposed to go watch her siblings. This would have been in the early morning hours of January 10th, right around 1 a.m. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, I thought she was getting away from this guy, right? Well, she was trying to get her grandmother's necklace back from him. She had left it, and she was trying to get him to return it to her. It was important to her, and she wanted it back. At 1:36 a.m., she texted her mom to assure her that she would be home later that morning to watch her siblings. At 3:40 a.m., her phone pinged over the 62nd Street Bridge in Sharpsburg, Virginia. And how to stop. Pennsylvania. Where did I get Virginia? 10 minutes later, Michael's phone shows that he made a call to his friend Amir. At approximately approximately 3 p.m., her mom calls Michael. Michael says Kaylene doesn't want to talk to her, and he refuses to put her daughter on the phone. So her mom waits a little, hoping that Kaylene just got distracted and that she would come home soon. But when that did not happen, she went to the police on the 12th of January and filed a missing persons report. Kaylene was a pretty responsible young lady, and it was highly out of character for her not to show up, especially to watch her siblings. The whole point of her being near Etna was to watch her siblings. Now this is where it gets kind of crappy. Jason claims that the Etna Police Department did a crappy job on Kaylene's case from the get-go. And from what I can see, he's right. After her mom filed the report, Jason tried to follow up in an email with the police. He wanted a copy of the missing persons report so that he himself could keep a paper trail of everything that was going on. But the Etna police didn't file the missing persons report into the National Missing Database until March 13th of 2020. That is 1 day over 2 months later. Can you imagine being the parent of a missing child and the cops just drop the ball on your kid for 2 months? So, once a little bit of digging is done, it is discovered that before her disappearance, Kaylene wrote a Facebook post stating that Michael had committed a robbery. Within an hour of her going missing, or her phone's last ping, I guess, her social media account was deactivated and calls to her phone were going straight to voicemail. So the post was written right around the same time that she texted her mother around 1:30 in the morning. Since her disappearance, her social media and EBT card showed no activity. Unfortunately, by the time that the Etna police took this case seriously, so much time had gone by that all of the potential CCTV footage, video surveillance, everything was gone. Any evidence of Kaylene going to meet Michael, gone. Any evidence of him dropping her off, did they actually meet? Did she come across harm before she ran into him? Gone. So, Michael Mano, I keep saying Menino, like there's an I in it, but there's not. He's not important to me. He's the last known person to see her, and he becomes the main suspect in her disappearance. On September 26, 2020, a protest for answers in this case is held in Penn Hills, Pennsylvania, where this creepazoid had the audacity to whisper to a protester, "She's swimming with the fishes." So, Kaylene's father, Jason, is like a dog with a bone, and bless him for this. He begged the police department to transfer her case to the county, but they refused. The Etna Police Department only went once to Michael Mano's residence to ask questions, in spite of everything that was shared with him about this man. Finally, a half a year later, after getting tired of Jason just basically harassing them, they finally agreed to transfer her case along with an active warrant to search Michael's home and property. Michael lives in the residence with his mother, his kids, and his current girlfriend at the time. So when the new police department on the case of Allegheny County went to pay a visit to Michael Mano's home, the girlfriend and the mother tell the police that they cannot go into the garage because there's a vicious dog locked in there. So they just didn't. On April 27th of 2021, Michael Mano was arrested, and he was charged with corruption of minors. use of a communication facility, unlawful contact with a minor, and dissemination of sexually explicit material involving minors. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, well, why do we need to know about this? This creepo decided that after his ex-girlfriend Kaylene goes missing, he's going to send an exposed selfie of her to her 17-year-old sister and to her father. These pictures were allegedly taken prior to her disappearance. Can you imagine? This creepo was sitting around and he was like, I got this photo. I'm gonna send it to her family just to taunt them. Not like, oh, let me just send her photo. No, let me send the explicit photo to a minor. Because I think that'll be cool. Whatever. So he pled not guilty. Kaylene's Uncle Paul said, "This is hard enough on my sister, on Kaylene's father, and all of her siblings to go through her being missing. But you add to the fact that someone is taunting her family, sending photos of their missing child. I mean, it's horrible. So hopefully we get some kind of resolution." So he took a plea deal and he served 6 to 12 months and 1 year of probation. He's already been released. As far as I know, he's walking free today. And he's never been officially named a suspect in the disappearance of Kaylene, sorry. I hate it when I mess up their names. Okay, so that is going to bring us to 2023. Allegheny County Police revealed on Sunday, March 20th, that hunters in the woods of Washington Boulevard in Lincoln, Leamington, found a human skull. Investigators came and searched the area, and they found more remains. That following Friday, they identified them using dental records as 20-year-old Kaylene Oehling, or Kaylene Young. For the first time on that Friday, Jason visited the area, and he stood just a few feet from where his daughter's remains were found. And he said, "All the blood just ran from me. Hearing the words, 'Jason, it's Kaylene. It's confirmed.' Just total shock, because you always hope for a different outcome." The hardest part was not knowing, but now that we know, we can piece together what happened, and we can go from there. Only not. Kaylene's family feels some relief as they now prepare to lay her to rest. But their fight isn't over, Jason says. "We're not going to go away till we find out what happened." So he gives an interview on the day that it was announced that it was her. And he's standing in this area, this wooded area, and her sisters are around wandering. And one of the sisters steps on a bone. And as they start to look, they find more bones. They call 911, and the medical examiner returns to the site where Kaylene's remains were found. And they find more bones. How was this missed? I can't. According to Jason, the manager of operations for the Allegheny County Office of the Medical Examiner, a man named Nelson Early, which clearly indicates that she died the day she went missing. So 3 years earlier. So police have to be looking at the very last person who saw her, right? Michael. Additionally, the site, where she was found was about 20 feet away from land that reportedly was owned by Michael Mano's father. His name was Pascal. Just beyond the railroad tracks. Now, this area did have security cameras nearby. However, if the police had done a proper investigation from the jump, it's very possible that they would have discovered these cameras, and maybe we would have footage of Michael dumping Kaylene in this area. But they did not investigate Michael Mano and his family properly. Now, I'm not saying that his immediate family had anything to do with it, or that they know anything. However, she could have been found soon after disappearing and saved her family years of heartache. But it also means that the police possibly could have had visual proof of who put her where she was found. Now, they did confirm that her death is being investigated as a criminal manner, but they've been very tight-lipped about this investigation. In fact, I've pretty much given you all of the details that I have in this case. Now, both of her parents have turned the pain of losing her into action. They are looking to help families of missing people. Jason retired from his job to become a full-time missing persons advocate. He set up nonprofit organizations, and in his daughter's name, he helps families out locally and nationally. He said that he helps them out of his own pocket. He does not use GoFundMe. He fundraises out of his own pocket. He said that he became inspired to help others the day that his daughter disappeared. He currently works with 15 other missing children advocates across the country. And at the time of the article, he was working on 12 cases. He places flyers, uses social media. He was planning to start a podcast. He has a scent-sniffing dog, and he's looking to train 2 of his horses to smell scents, which is just incredible to me. He said that he would travel with his animals to help others in person. Meanwhile, Haley Young helped establish a nonprofit called the Oehling Foundation, and she is its vice president. The foundation is used to support families with missing loved ones and to provide mental health support to them, and I will link the foundation in the description box down below. And anyone with further information on this case is asked to call the Allegheny County Homicide Unit. The number will be in the description box down below, but it is 1-833-255-8477, or the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania FBI office at 1-800-225-5324. Kaylene's case number is 01275-20. So, let's talk about this just a little. I 100% believe that Michael Mano did something to Kaylene Oehling. murder on property that his family owned. That was not the smartest move. However, this guy's a career felon. He's not exactly the brightest crayon in the box. So I am in no way surprised. I think that he called his friend Amir and had Amir potentially help him. Now, there wasn't a lot of information about her remains and how they were found or anything like that. In order for me to give you those details, I know that they found her skull first. I don't know what they found in the initial investigation other than her clothing, but was she partially buried? Were all of the remains girl's fault. First of all, I myself